Good evening. Welcome to the special meeting of the Land Use and Building Management Committee. It is May 5th, 2025 at 7:02. I will call this meeting to order. Tonight we have with us council members Jim Frayer, Nicole Eady, Nicole Ayers, Greg Burnett, and Dewan Wiggins. Heather Dunn is absent, but we may see her at some point. She was going to try to make it. Next item on the agenda is the acceptance of the minutes of April 2nd, 2025. Do I have a motion? Mr. Frayer, thank you very much. Are there any changes, additions, deletions, corrections? Okay, seeing none, all in favor, please raise your hand. Okay. Opposed? Abstentions? Mr. Wiggins abstains, otherwise all in favor. Moving on to public participation, do we have anyone in attendance who would like to speak?
No, we do not.
Okay, so then I will go ahead and close public participation. We have no old business, but moving on to new business, item A, review bid responses for the Fox Run Elementary School asbestos flooring removal and replacement State Project 103-0288CV and refer the following to the Common Council for action. Authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement with Hasbro, Inc., State Contract 103-0268CV for the Fox Run Elementary School asbestos flooring removal and replacement project for a total not to exceed $265,000. Funds are available from account numbers noted. And 2, authorize the NPS Facilities Department to issue change orders on this contract for a total of $26,500. Funds available from account number noted. Will someone please move those items? Ms. Eady, thank you very much. This is this Fox Run asbestos abatement we've been talking about really for quite some time. So Bill, I will turn it over to you for details.
Yes, thank you. Yes, we have been talking about it for quite some time. Last fall, I believe, this committee approved us to approach the state and file a grant application, which was obviously accepted. Then following that, this committee approved the plan, specifications, and professional cost estimate, at which time we went out to bid by working with the city's purchasing department, and the bids came back favorable, very favorable. And out of that package, we are recommending to hire Hasbro Inc., who we have worked with in the past. They are the lowest bidder. They do good work, and they would look at the opportunity for even more work, but they are available to start this project as soon as the school season ends.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Are there any questions, comments? All right, seeing none, I will call the vote. All in favor, please raise your hand. That is unanimous. Thank you very much. Moving on to item B, authorize the increase contingency allowance in the amount of $583,668 to Newfield Construction Group LLC's contract for the Norwalk Community Recreation Center to cover the costs associated with water damage to the exterior building walls, account number noted. Will someone please move the item? Ms. Ayers, thank you. So we did get some information that there was some severe water damage that was discovered on this project. And Joanne, you did quite a thorough presentation that is included in our packet. So I'm going to turn it over to you to discuss, what was found. And I know that, Alan Lowe, our Director of Building Management, is at the BET right now discussing the cost, and this is for Newfield to increase the contingency, which we need. So go ahead, Joanne.
Yeah, unfortunately, we had forgotten that piece on the special appropriation, but we definitely need to increase the contingency so that Alan can sign change orders or anything that may come up based on this new finding.
Yeah, and the special appropriation, once approved, if and once approved by the BEP, will go to the Finance and Claims Committee. It goes through that. So this
He's
is
actually there now.
right now, right? So we'll know soon enough.
Right.
Are there any questions or comments? Mr. Burnett?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Joanne, I know the narrative was in the backup, but can you touch on the level of criticality with this work that needs to be done? And the second part is, what is the current state of the rest of the building?
Sure. I think the word, I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit, so I wasn't sure exactly the word that you mentioned, but you were basically mentioning how severe it is and was. Yes.
Right. And what is the current state of the rest of the building?
Sure. So as soon as we found out, many groups came in. We've had the structural engineers come in, the architects, everyone there, all together, environmental, everyone was there, basically looking at you could actually see outside from the inside, which was the scariest part, because you could see all these spaces in between, and you couldn't see that from the outside because there was sheeting inside, so you wouldn't have been able to see inside. So basically, everyone did come together, and we got revised plans from the architects are working on revised plans with E2, which is the structural engineer. There was a company that came in, the masons came in, and they're currently fixing all of the little brackets that connect the brick to the stud, which are, as you can see from the packet, they're all metal, so they were all rusted out. So they have been moving very quickly with that. We were very surprised with that work. But in the meantime, everything else has been just going on schedule. Nothing has stopped in that regards. The contractor, our superintendent, has been just keeping things along and maneuvering the schedule so that we could keep going. We do need to, we're waiting on a few things just to get the new design, because now that wall isn't going to stay there anymore, we're basically knocking it down. They just needed to do some redesign there. But nothing out of the ordinary that actually isn't already part of that proposal. So did I cover what you wanted to know?
Almost.
Almost. Okay.
The rest of the building.
Yes, everything is moving along as it was on schedule. So nothing has stopped.
No, I'm not asking the project moving along. I'm talking about the current state of the current building.
As far as if there's any other deficiencies, is that brick wall?
Correct.
No.
Are there
Yes.
any other concerns with the rest of the current structure?
No. And the mold in the different parts has been taken care of, and that was the only other concern. They were just concerned with at the back wall, the corners to go to the east and west walls. And they did they're repointing those and resecuring those as well.
Are there any other questions? Yeah, this is one of those unfortunate things. It's like you can't know until you get in there, and then you see like the level of damage. But from what I'm hearing, and I just following up with Mr. Burnett's question, it's just you've done you've checked everything else. There's not going to be any more surprises, essentially.
Not in that respect. No,
Okay.
all the structural engineers have signed off and worked with the masons on the whole repair process. So the entire building has been looked at, and top floor and bottom floor. So everything has been covered. Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Anything else?
I just have one question, Joanne, is how, when we initially looked at this building, did everybody look at the whole building I'm just surprised that something that's this serious was overlooked at the very beginning. I mean, we've been maintaining that building for, I don't know, how many years now?
Well,
And
there hasn't been anyone in the building other than that front lobby
yeah,
for many years, and the back wall is the one that is the most affected. And that's where the rain comes in. And unfortunately, if you didn't remove that sheeting on the inside, you wouldn't know from the outside or the inside that there was any space in there. And I'm not sure what they did before that group
no, the
came
reason
in.
yeah, the reason I ask is I know that it did come up. I think when I was on the BET, I was asking about, what are we spending all the money on this building that there's nobody in there? And I think Alan came before us at the time and explained that, the city still had to maintain the building, even though I think AmeriCare was in there at one time. And they had significant portion of the building, I think.
Yeah, they were just in the front, so they weren't using the community room, and that's where all
Yeah.
of the most 90% of the damage was, and where the rain was coming in. So no one opened walls up beforehand,
Yeah.
to really look at that part. But it was really early on when the demo started that it was found.
Hey, Jim, this is Darren Callahan. Just to refresh everyone's recollection, the building was in the possession of Neon and South Norwalk Community Center for a number of years. So it was out of the maintenance hands of the city for quite some time. We took it back over partially when Neon went bankrupt, and then it took, I think we reacquired the other half of the building from the community center shortly after I started with the city, which was about 7 years ago.
Yeah.
So it was out of our hands for quite a while. There, in this case, clearly some significant deferred maintenance. But it is hard to know what's behind the walls unless you pull them off.
No, I agree, Darren. I think I remember when we bought out the rest of it and took over the whole thing. And I remember Alan saying, giving us some estimates of it seemed a little expensive to take care of that building, but he explained it had been neglected, and I certainly agree that maintenance of a building doesn't require tearing the walls down, seeing what's inside. So I appreciate that. I guess we're lucky that it could have been worse.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Anything else? Okay, I will call the vote. All in favor, please raise your hand. Opposed? Abstentions? Ms. Ayers, I didn't see your vote.
Or
Okay, thank you. Okay, that passes unanimously. Item C, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute the guaranteed maximum price amendment with Newfield Construction Group LLC for the Rowayton School HVAC improvement project in the amount of $10,308,938. Funds are available and account number noted. Will someone move the item? Mr. Freyer, thank you. This is, part of the schools that we're doing with the state 60% grant. So who's going to take that? Joanne, Bill?
I can take that.
Oh, Jim. Okay, great.
But, yeah, so as I'm sure you're all aware, this city of Norwalk submitted 6 grant applications for improvements to their HVAC systems at a number of different schools, one of which was Rowayton. The others were Marvin, Brian McMahon, Silvermine, Brookside, and Merrimack. I believe I got all 6. We did go out, the scope of services for Brookside were fairly simple. Basically a 1-to-1 replacement of the rooftop units. So we ended up bidding that one to a mechanical contractor. It didn't involve any interior work, any ceiling removal or anything like that. So we felt that that was easy enough to just submit, just to bid by itself. And this group previously approved the bid for that, I want to say back in February. With that said, we moved forward to hire a construction manager to manage the 5 other schools because they were much more involved in terms of scope of services, scope of work. Where we had to remove ceilings, we had to do some architectural work, we had to do some structural work, along with some electrical work. So we grouped those 5 buildings as a group of projects under one construction management firm. We continued with the design of the 5 projects. We went out to bid about 3 weeks ago. We received the bids last Tuesday, and we're asking for an approval on the GMP for only Rowayton at this point. The other projects did come in slightly over budget, so we're going through and reviewing the scope of those projects before we move forward with any approvals on that. Rowayton did come in a little bit higher than what we wanted, but we can move forward with the budget that we have for this project at this time and want to take advantage for a number of reasons. One is we have a boiler replacement at Rowayton, which we want to get done this summer. We previously purchased the boiler separate from the GMP number that you see here. And that was in order to make sure that we had delivery of the boiler by the end of the school year so we can begin the replacement process on the boiler. The rest of the work at Rowayton is electrical, HVAC, new HVAC units, as well as new building management system. Some of the building management system that's currently there is pneumatic, which is extremely old system. And they need to bring it up to current standards. So that's why we're only asking for the GMP to be approved for Rowayton at this time. And as we work out the scope and budget issues on the other projects, we'll be probably coming forward in the next months or so to get those projects approved.
Are there any questions for Jim? You know, we've been well aware of these projects and, you know, the approvals all along. And the reimbursement that goes with it, which is really fortunate. It's costing the city much less than we would have to be dealing with otherwise. So unless there are any further questions or comments, I'll call for the vote. Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand. Opposed? Abstentions? All right, that carries unanimously. Thank you. All right, unless anyone has any objections, I'd like to move the Board of Education monthly construction update so that, you know, we don't have to keep staff here through the executive session. So Jim, you're going to take that too, right?
You know, I'm not, Joanne, do you
Yep.
have that? I'm
Yeah,
not
I'll
actually,
I'll pull it up. Hang on.
I apologize for that. I was caught off guard on that.
It's okay. I mean, you know, we have it in our backup,
Okay.
but it's good to get it on the screen.
I can say we're moving forward. I can at least start it while Joanne's uploading it. I believe it starts off with South Norwalk School, which we are on schedule to be opening by the end of the summer for the 25-26 school year. Things are moving forward on that project. I'm sure this group understands we've purchased some additional property adjacent to the original school property. That property is being worked on. We started site work on there. Brickwork is continuing. Interior ceilings, interior painting. So the finishes are moving along. Thank you. You can go to the next page, Joanne. If you could just make it smaller, that'd be great. There we go. Again, exterior brick is continuing, storefront curtain wall. MEPs are continuing on the west side. And like I said, we're going to be complete for this coming school year. This is the rear of the building. I think the next picture is stairwell. That's the main stairwell. And there's some curtain wall overlooking the main parking area. Interior shot, we have some painted walls. We have you see the ceiling wires that were installed, ready to accept the ceiling grid. And this is looking down into the gymnasium and stage area. And we are on schedule. We are in May, obviously, of 2025. Over a little bit more to the left. And like I said, we are on schedule to open for this coming school year. Thank you, Joanne. If you could just make it a little bit smaller. Norwalk High School continues.
Jim, can you hold on a second? Mr. Burdette has a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, thank you. I believe last meeting it was shared that there was one potential item that could potentially have an impact on the opening of the school.
The
And,
electrical.
I believe that's what it was. So
Yeah,
has that all those issues been resolved?
the
That
issue.
we are now on track to open in August?
Yeah, we are on track to open in August. That issue has been resolved. We came up with a alternate method to be able to open the school. So that's why I can, last week, I think that was the finalization of the resolution. So, you know, getting down to the wire before reporting to you, we did get some good news and got that issue resolved.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions on South Norwalk? If not, moving forward with Norwalk High School and P-TECH. The underslab utilities are continuing, and a portion of the concrete slab has been placed, as well as a portion of some of the slab on deck. And you'll see that in the pictures moving forward. The crane is moved to its second location, second of, I believe, 7 locations. And steel erection continues. You can see the building taking shape now. Continue with underslab utilities. You can see here in the picture that is the fireproofing that's being applied to the steel. So things are on track moving forward. We plan on doing quite a bit. Here's a slab on deck that was just poured. They're waiting for it to stiffen up before they put the finish machines on there. This is over by behind the houses on Strawberry Ave, where they're beginning to, or they're clearing the land. There's a large retaining wall that's going to go there that creates a multi-purpose field along with a softball field. We are on schedule. At this point, we're far enough out, and also we don't have, we're not anticipating the same issue with electrical gear on this project. We have a different manufacturer on this project than we did at South Norwalk. So right now, there are no impending issues. I know we're a little ways out, but everything is moving forward as planned at this time. I basically gave you the update on the HVAC projects. We did go out to bid, as I stated. Many of the projects, 4 of the 6 projects came in over budget. We've previously approved Brookside, and then obviously we just approved Row-Ayton. And we're working on Silvermine, Marvin, Brian McMahon, and Narragansett to get those within budget.
Jim, you had a question? Mr. Frayer?
Yeah, you know, I'm glad we were able to get the electrical component situation resolved. I'm just a little concerned with all of the craziness with tariffs and all, and I was looking at something the other day that showed where we get a lot of our building materials from overseas. Have we ordered, and do we have all the materials that we're going to need that we will need in the foreseeable future in this country?
So for the structural steel, we have that. That's all purchased and fabricated, or is in the process of being fabricated. I will say our exposure is probably on the aluminum on the curtain wall of the high school. We're not anticipating any issues with Sono because we're so far along. We've purchased the furniture. We've purchased pretty much everything that we need to purchase for Sono. But yeah, Norwalk High School, again, depending on what happens with the tariffs, you know, conduit, electrical conduit could be affected. The skin of the building, the aluminum, there's a lot of aluminum. There's aluminum panels and aluminum framing for the windows and glass. So they're all depending on what's going on with that. Yeah, there could be some exposure in regards to that material. I would say you probably have I'd say about 65% of the cost, maybe 70% of the cost that, you know, we're past where any effect that the tariffs would have. So, you know, I guess we're just going to have to do a wait and see. I know that they probably will be purchasing the material very shortly for the exterior skin, because those are the next, you know, that's the next process in the building of the building. So steel is up, they get the slabs in, that reinforces the building and lateral movement, and then they start the exterior wall framing and then the exterior wall sheathing. So like I said, you know, maybe, you know, I think we're about 65% past any effective tariffs, potential effective tariffs.
Is there any need to expedite your purchasing of those materials?
You know, that's a good question. We do have our weekly meeting on Wednesday. I think I'm going to bring that up and see where we are in the purchasing of those materials. But that, you know, that's a good question.
Okay, good. Thanks very much, Jim.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I would tend to think the sooner we can get that ordered, the better for us.
Exactly. Yeah, I think we're through the shop drawing process on that. I'd have to double check with Dan, but when that happens, once we're done with the shop drawing process, then normally they would start to purchase the material because they want to get it. They want to get it as quickly as they can, regardless of whether or not there's tariffs, because escalation, prices are always increasing. They
Mhm.
never go down. So the faster they are able to purchase the material, the better off they are.
Yeah, my thought is really that even though I assume some of the aluminum's coming out of Canada, but even if they announce well, they have announced significant tariffs, but the effective date starts and stops. You never know what's going to be exempted or whatever.
Right.
But nevertheless, prices are going to go up, to your point.
Right.
So might as well get it as soon as possible.
Exactly.
Okay, great. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Jim? Okay, thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
All right, so moving on, before I read this, I do just want to make sure that everyone has received the executive session link. Mary, have you gotten it from,
Yes.
okay, great. Okay, so I just want to be clear. Okay, so, item D, executive session, settlement of claim, Connecticut General Statutes 1-206B and E and 1-21B10. At this time, I will take a motion to move into executive session. All in favor? Please raise your hand. I just need Ms. Ayers and Mr. Wiggins. All set?
Yeah, I'm good. I couldn't get to my
Okay.
hands. I'm sorry.
Okay. Oh, it's okay. Okay. Nicole, you ready for executive session?
I raised my hand, yes.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see your hand. Okay, all right, so we are going into executive session at 7:34. All right, we're just waiting for 2 members. We do have a quorum, so we can continue. All right, I'm going to go ahead. It is 8:31. We have come out of executive session, at which time no motions were made, no votes were taken. And now I'll move on to the next item, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute a new management agreement with Growing Seeds 2, Child Development Center, Inc., Growing Seeds, or extend the existing one as applicable for a term of 2 years, July 1, 2025 to June 30th, 2027, to continue providing early care and education services out of the same space currently occupied by Growing Seeds under the existing management agreement at 165 Flax Hill Road. Will someone move the item, please? Mr. Burnett, thank you very much. I'll turn this over to Mary Oster.
Okay, so the programs Odyssey Growing Seeds and Head Start, which is under Civic Child. Sorry, I just drew a blank on what Civic stands for.
Oh, that's the second item, though.
All right, so I'll just address Growing Seeds. It's sort of the same actually for all of them. So these programs have been operating in city buildings under a management agreement. They've also been subcontractors. And now the Office of Early Childhood, the OEC, is going to be changing that. And instead of contracting with the city and then we subcontracting with the providers, they will be contracting directly with the programs themselves. In those same buildings. And then we need a new management agreement for the management part of it, but we're removing all the language about the grant because they'll be contracting directly with the state.
Okay, pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
All right, any questions? Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, that is unanimous. And then item 2, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute a new management agreement with Connecticut Institute of Communities, Inc., CIFC, or extend the existing one as applicable for a term of 2 years, July 1, 2025 to June 30th, 2027, to continue providing early care and education services out of the same space currently occupied by CIFIC under the existing management agreement at 11 Ingalls Avenue and 165 Flax Hill Road. Will someone move that item, please? Also, Mr. Burnett, thank you. Any additional language, Mary?
Same.
Same. Okay. All right, then I will call for the vote on that. Please raise your hand if you approve. And that also is unanimous. All righty. Thank you very much, everyone. I will call for a motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn. Mr. Frayer gets it, and let's go watch the Knicks. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.